So this episode I'm gonna call haters versus knowers, right? So I was looking them. So I was looking at one of my mentees. I guess that's somebody you call like where you teach them. And I was looking at some of his videos that he was talking about. He was talking about Google AdWords and like he was saying that click through rate was the thing that he optimizes for. Because he was saying, okay, I optimize for click through rate because if I can increase the chances of somebody clicking it, then that means my ad works. That means my ad design is good. And that means they at least had an interest in the product. So I can just optimize from that point. And I was like, I agree with that. I agree with that. Because everybody optimizes for different things. So there's not one way to sell. But that was simple and it was good. How he was saying it was like, okay, if I get people to click this, the click-through rate is high. So that means they're interested. No matter what you did to get them to click it, they were interested. So that means you did good if it's high. So you might sell or whatever you want to do. You get an email or whatever you tried to do. So I was like, that's good. That's a good video. But then he had so many hateful comments like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know this. I'm like, what? I'm like, how can you hate on that? How can you hate on someone who's like, and he's like 16 years old. I'm like, he's 16 years old and he's already talking about click-through rates. And I'm see grown men like with tuxedos. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, wow, this is a hateful world. I'm like, this world is hateful. I'm like, you're a grown man. You're hating on a 16-year-old teaching Google AdWords online in the comment section of TikTok. Wow. And I started thinking like, what would make a person hate that much? And I started thinking like, it's not the simple fact that it's a little bit of envy, because all hate is envy. And no happy person has hate, a lot of hate, right? Because I just see a 16-year-old who's learning AdWords. I'm not going to hate on a 16-year-old teaching AdWords because I was learning AdWords at 16 too. So I just see myself. So I'm thinking like, what makes him think he knows more than the 16-year-old that's teaching that? And you go on their pages and there's like nothing, no followers, like 2 posts. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, what would make a person hate that much? And I was like, you know what? It's because they don't know. Right? It could be that simple. Like somebody who doesn't know something will hate because they don't know. Right? They don't know what's behind something. Right? Like take someone who's teaching online like me, like I teach online. It's easy for somebody to hate on me because they don't know what I really do. They don't know the people I really help. They don't know. They just see the surface, right? The first impression is not the final impression. It's just you scrolling through a page for like 2 seconds. And then you just judge just off that right there. You see what I'm saying? And I think it's just amazing. I'm always fascinated by hateful comments. Always. I look at so many hateful comments, like Ty Lopez, like so many hateful comments. I'm like, these dudes have thousands of videos of teaching people free stuff. And it's just hate on it. I'm like, wow. And then you go, you just go and I look at people. And I'm like, you know what? I'm looking around. I'm like, all of these people around me could be the people that's leaving those type of comments. So who is it to say that these people aren't as crazy as the people leaving comments? They all around you. whole society is crazy. I'm like, wow, like people are really crazy. Like some people, they're just crazy. And it's narcissism. It's not just craziness. It's narcissism. Like people, they're just going so fast, like they can't pause their brains. Like it's mostly the newer people. Because if you look at an older person nowadays, they're usually more down to earth. Like they can actually have a conversation about something, right? But the newer generation is like they don't, I don't know, like it's like they don't have perspective on things. They just, I don't know. I guess it's because technology gives them everything. It's like technology thinks for the people nowadays, so they don't have to think for themselves. It's like it's turning people into little robots. Like, so they don't have a perspective. They don't really have a deep perspective on things, and it's kind of crazy. When I started to think, I'm like, wow. I'm like, it's kind of crazy how people are, and I don't know if a part of me I feel like a lot of people are getting dumber. I feel like a lot of people, but I feel like the smart people nowadays, they have a big advantage. They have a humongous advantage because most people they just go out, they buy, and they sit down. And I didn't notice this until I just started going out, like out, right? Because I work hard, right? I study hard, I work hard. So I just started going out, and I just started being around a crowd of people, because I'm not really big on being around a crowd of people. So I just started looking, I'm like, wow, like, look at how many people just sit and just wonder, right? It's like they just wander around. They don't have any logic to what they're doing. They just go here, they go there, they go here, and then they go somewhere, and then they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to here. And it's like, you didn't have a plan or nothing. You just woke up and then you just said, I'm going to see what's going to happen today. Like, I didn't realize how many people was like this. I'm like, wow, a lot of people, they don't even have a plan to their life. They just wake up and they're like, oh, I'm going to go to Walmart today. Or I'm just going to go and see what's colorful or something today. What can I eat today? What can I, It's like they don't have a plan, or they don't have any type of logic. And I was like, that's the type of thinking that makes a person a hater. Because they're not in a state of knowing something. Like a person that's trying to know something, or they trying to figure something out, they don't really have time to hate on somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have time to hate. That's why in a lot of my videos, I just started making like business videos, like how to start a coffee business, how to start a gaming controller business, how to start an anime business, how to start a business, right? Different kind of businesses. And I was like, maybe this will help somebody out in the world somewhere. Because all of my videos is like, to me, some life-changing videos. Because me, like, I started Shopify shops. And I started making money. And I was like, wow, like, then I started looking at people, I'm making money on my phone right now. And you're like greeting somebody at Walmart. And I'm like, I wouldn't want to do that. So I was like, maybe there's somebody at home who was like me, where I was like, I want to start a business. And I kept failing. Like, I've launched like 10, I've started over 20 different types of businesses. Because I was like, these videos online, they're just not good. Some of them are good, but you gotta move around. So I was like, let me make some videos where if I was me in my situation where I was failing, how could I teach somebody where they don't fail as much as I did and give them the best way to do it in as much as I can in 5 minutes, where they can watch it and they'll be like, okay, now I know, right? I wanted to hate on this video, but now I know because I know now. Like, he just taught me with this one video. And then they have the ability to actually take action and do it if they want to do it, right? Because now they know. And I was like, I'm like, yeah, that'll be a good idea. So that's what I'm thinking about doing my YouTube channel. Just do like how to start a hat business, how to start a sweater business, how to start, I'm just trying to think of tire business, right? How to start a bracelet business, how to start a watch business. And I remember listening to Ty Lopez, and he was saying most people don't take action when you teach them something. And that's the truth. That's the hardest part of being a teacher, right? And that's like hate. It's a lot of hate because a lot of people, they won't even do something because you're the one that taught them something. They were like, oh no, he's the one who taught me, so I'm not going to do it because I'd rather learn it from this person or this person, right? That works too. But like me, I took everything from everybody. Like pricing strategy, Dan Lope. Like broad thinking, Ty Lopez. Just all kinds of different people I learned from. Joe Soto, Facebook ads, and just random YouTube people. And then just myself, Perry Marshall. Not Perry Marshall, Perry Marshall 80-20. But it was, I forgot the AdWords guy I studied. The Isaac Rundunsky guy. Yeah, that's Isaac Rundunsky. Yeah, that's who I studied for my AdWords. And then the Sam Baldwin, he's good for Google Shopping. Because I didn't really know much about Google Shopping because it's kind of new. And then just keeping people around you that's smart and up to date. And you'll stay relevant. You'll stay good. But the world now, it's like, to me, this is the easiest time to get rich. Or at least make like $100,000 a year. It's so doable. It's extremely doable. Like, so for somebody who's just sitting on money right now, and they was thinking like, oh, I want to get into real estate, or I want to get into, like, I don't know. I just feel like even in a recession, how it is, go to Walmart and be like, oh, I can't make money. Oh, nobody's making money. It's a recession. And go to Walmart and just look at how many people are spending money. Like, people was like, they're spending a lot of money. Like, people are spending money like it's not even a recession. Like, it's like you would think that the world is normal. Even though you got homeless people, you got people outside, you got more people homeless, you got more people going broke, the middle class is dead. But everybody is still spending money.